Hey, what's up, y'all, on YouTube and then also Instagram. I'm trying to do two lives at the same time as of now, just because I don't know. I might as well just go all out while this censorship is just getting worse and worse. So I want you guys to look at my Rumble, subscribe to it, go to Rumble and look for Avenus Hermes 7. Avenus Hermes 7. Um, I tried to Avenus Hermes Justin Wilson, but the first time I did that, that was so confusing. I didn't understand Rumble for the first time on at least for the app. It just when you use the app, it's just trash because they have two different apps for it. One app for uploading and then another app just for viewing and subscribing and stuff. But anyway, yes, I want you guys to move from my YouTube because eventually I will have to exit out. This ship is going to crash and sink, and I don't want all my subscribers to just sink with it. So join me at Rumble. And what's up, y'all? Greek American and Brandon N. Today I'm going to talk about the bold hypocrisy of Twitter, where they are actually condemning Uganda for pretty much shutting down the internet over there because they're trying to shut off or shut out social media from interfering in their elections. Because what was going on is that Twitter, they had the nerve to actually go to, I mean, of course, they're already there as far as the internet, but they had the nerve of censoring the elected officials there that were, in the race. I guess I'm not sure if it was a presidential race or some kind of election, but they were pretty much interfering with the election because they were censoring some official electors or official pretty much candidates or politicians. And of course, they were also promoting others, just like they're doing here. So during that whole ordeal, they said, look, we're about to have our election in 2 days. So let's just shut off social media, because that is just, it is causing so much confusion. It is not giving everyone a fair race. Like, everyone is pretty much on social media, and one candidate can say, hold on, like, you have this massive giant big tech that is promoting one candidate, but then also censoring the other. Clearly, there's like this higher power that is controlling Uganda. So, they decided to just shut down the internet. Now, Twitter, their policy, they go out. Let me share my screen real quick. Let me divide this. Sorry, Instagram folk, you can't see it, but Twitter, they do this mess. Let me look closer. This is what they say on their public policy. It says, ahead of Ugandan election, we're hearing reports that internet service providers are being ordered to block social media and messaging apps. We strongly condemn internet shutdowns. They are hugely harmful, violate basic human rights and the principle of the open internet. So this is the irony. Just after banning the president, and then on top of that, pushing for the ban and the deplatforming of Parler, now they want to talk about open internet. Now they want to talk about censorship, how the government should not censor the internet from the people, because that is a basic human right. That is just crazy. Like, that is some gaslighting to a whole nother level. I mean, they're so bold with this hypocrisy that it just makes no sense why they think people are so stupid. But you know what? I think it does make sense that they think that people are stupid. The fact that they can get away with the election, I was going to say it. I was going to say it. I'm not sure if the algorithm can pick up, I guess, sarcasm, but if they could get away with, what just happened here in America, and then continue to gaslight people and say, don't question it. If you question it, you need to be banned, and it's dangerous. And if you question the election, you're causing riots, and it's inciting a civil war. If they can get away with that kind of manipulation, they can practically say anything. They could be as hypocritical as they want. They can literally have the devil sitting right next to them and still say, oh no, this is not the devil. This is the angel. And the devil can sit there and say, no, I'm actually the devil. And Twitter will go out and say, no, this is fake news. Trust us. This is not the devil. And this is how, this is the level of gaslighting they can actually just put out, because there's so many people that want to live in this dream where their government, the big people that's on the left, they are saints. The people that keep on pushing for this utopian, government controlled world, they want to trust the government so bad. They want to trust these big tech giants that they're willing to just throw away their mind. Just don't criticize, don't doubt them, just believe them. That is their mindset. So then whenever you talk about, questioning the government, at least for these people who believe in this utopian government, usually it's socialist or it's some kind of communistic government. These people, they want to take it to the level of calling it conspiracy theory, right? And they will try to just say, look, what you're saying is crazy. Why would the government do that? Why would Twitter actually do something nefarious? That is just, that's far-fetched for them. That's what they want to say in their heads, because it's just they don't believe that the government could fail them, that the government could be this corrupt. They have this idea that the government is as holy as God. Have you noticed that when you ever talk about, let's say, human or child trafficking, right? There could be judges who are child traffickers. There could be teachers who are child traffickers. There could be priests who are child molesters and traffickers. There could be the Joe Schmo, the homeless guy. All these guys, they could be child traffickers. If they hear it on the news and saying, some guy saying, oh yeah, this guy is a child trafficker, this guy is a child molester, they're okay with believing it. But the moment you talk about some leftist or some politician as part of this this child trafficking cabal, what? That's conspiracy theory. They really have this idea that once you become a leftist politician, you have ascended, you have transcended, or just went beyond, other humans. They think that these guys can't do that, and if you believe it, that's just far-fetched. You believe anything. You might as well believe in a Loch Ness monster or whatever. That's how, that's the level of faith these guys have in these politicians. And when I'm talking about transcendence, it's really that they think of the left side of the government. They really think of them as these people who are superior in morals, so that even when they do wrong, their wrong is still better than our wrong. For example, do you notice how whenever they talk about Trump supporters doing any violence, it's the most sinful thing in the world, right? It's just crazy. The way they're talking about the Capitol, they're trying to make it sound like it's a second 9/11, even though throughout the last 8-9 months, there was riots and just all kinds of fires going off. Cities were burning down, just streets with businesses. All their windows were broken. They were just destroying businesses after business, and they were killing people. After all that, they still felt justified. They still felt sanctimonious about what they're doing. So when they describe what they were doing, they say, well, see, the difference between us and you guys at the Capitol, we were destroying the city because we were fighting racism. You guys were destroying the Capitol because you were mad that, Trump lost. That's how they talk. They think that they have superior motives while we don't, right? We like Trump supporters, they have these low morals. And so these guys, they have this mindset that they are above like reproach. So their wrongs is not as wrong as our wrong. Our sins are just far greater than theirs. So speaking about that, like just think about how this next administration, and I just hate, I still have this hope that Trump will win, but the next administration, they're not going to talk about child trafficking. They're not. They're going to try their best to avoid the subject, because really, they're the ones that's behind it. And I would say it's these fake Republicans, I'm sure they have a piece in the pie. They just either they're just part of the money, or they're just for the power. But I'm sure a lot of them are part of this trafficking scheme, or at least the blackmail system. But what I want to bring out is that what you would notice is that they're not going to talk about it. They're going to try their best to avoid the subject of child trafficking. They're going to bring up Q, and they're going to start talking about, oh my goodness, these Q people are dangerous. Don't believe in these conspiracy theories. If you believe in the idea that there are these like elite pedophiles that are controlling the world, you are terrorists. You are the same people who just went into the Capitol and just started, setting the whole thing on fire or whatever. They're going to exaggerate it. Like 10 years from now, they're going to say that we blew up the Capitol. But anyway, they're gonna try to just not talk about this. COVID is going to be the worst thing in the world. Forget about all the children that are kidnapped, that are far more. The amount of children that are kidnapped and molested and killed and just cut in pieces. It's far more than people who have died from COVID. But anyway, what they're going to do, they're going to not talk about it. And the mindset of a leftist, this is what you notice. If you ask them, let's say from 1 to 10, 1 being not so corrupt, 10 is being extremely corrupt. How corrupt do you see the politicians? Now let's say 10 is at the level of like extreme, just sadistic, monstrous crimes, such as like killing children, killing and raping children and so on, like doing all the stuff that is alleged that the Clintons have been doing, such as like cutting kids' faces off and stuff, and recording it. I don't even want to think about it, but nevertheless, let's say that's 10, and number 1 is let's say cheating on your taxes, right? Oh no, just saying something politically incorrect, saying something rude, something that Donald Trump would say. And let's say number 4 or 5-ish is actually being racist. See, a leftist, they think the most corrupt, they will only go as far as believing that someone is racist. That's it. They will go up to level 4. They don't believe anything past 5 or 6 or 7. All that is fantasy land for them. So when you even talk about like child trafficking and all that stuff, they're going to shut you up. And the reason why is because, like, 1, it causes them to lose faith in the government, and then 2, it tells them they have to do something. They should do something, but they don't want to do anything about it because it requires them to actually like deal with the politicians that they deified and suggested that they can't do any wrong. And I think that's the problem. Now, with Twitter banning and deplatforming, like Parler, right now they're out looking for Trump supporters. They need Trump supporters to blame, and right now they're saying that I think the 20th on the inauguration, there's going to be protests and riots at each capital, at each state. And some people say they're saying, only the media, they're saying that they're going to bring like their guns, they're going to be armed and everything. And I'm not in that crowd of Trump supporters that would tell me that. But nevertheless, it's suspect. It seems like they're setting us up. This is going to be a nice false flag, and they're inviting at least the low IQ Trump supporters who would go and join their ops or their fake soldiers out there, or the fake Trump supporters out there. They're going to try to have them frame the Trump supporters and say, oh my goodness, they're doing it again. We need to take their guns now. We need to take their guns now. They're going to do that. And what's funny is that they're saying now that Trump supporters are doing like all their plotting now on Telegram. So they of course they jumped from Parler because Parler has been, wiped off. They're just going to have to rebuild the website on another host that will allow them. But now there's Telegram. I think they're slowing down Gab. I'm trying my best to get on Gab, but Gab system is so slow because so many people are joining at the same time. But yeah, they're now saying that Telegram is another hotbed for terrorists or white supremacists or terrorists. And it's funny because I was just telling people on my Facebook that, look, they're going to say, look, Telegram, you have to make these private messages public, and you have to moderate it. You have to make sure that certain words can't be said. You have to look at the patterns, the algorithms of what's being said, the blacklisted, words and phrases. You have to look at that all. Look at it all. And then we could actually keep you as a platform. If you can't do that, then we have to force you off our platform and just, you have to go the way of Parler. Now, who knows what's going to happen? But like, when does it stop? Because what's interesting is that before all this, I'm sure like Trump supporters have been doing terrorist period around the world. Now, I'm not saying Trump supporters are terrorists, but I'm just saying terrorist period have been planning to do whatever their evil plots were to fulfill. They were doing that on like Facebook. So why haven't they deplatformed Facebook? Well, because they're hypocrites. It's not about principle. It's just about getting rid of competition. And yeah, there's no way for them to actually be consistent here, because if they are going to be consistent, first they would have to shoot themselves as far as shooting down their platform, or they will have to get rid of all private social networks, or just all private conversations. So you can't text anybody and expect it to be private. If you say something that would trigger the algorithm, then you may lose your phone service. Verizon will come after you and say, look, man, you need a fine for what you just said there. Or we're calling the cops. We're calling the Democrats. We're going to get the politicians to, legislate some law against you. We see that you guys were having a conversation about guns, and now we're going to have to get the law against you. So I'm sorry. they're going to do that. Or it's going to be worse. Like if you get banned in one of these services, all the services are going to ban you. So they're going to want to keep pushing us further and further out of the internet, off of technology. And then it'd be easier for them to find us in churches. They're going to come to churches. This is just like China. Come to churches, sit down, listen as though they are a believer. And they're just going to take note. They're going to see, okay, well, who is preaching about the LGBT, what they're saying. And if it doesn't go according to this, I guess, the woke version of Christianity, then they will highlight that church, say that it's hateful and it's inciting violence against, the LGBT community, and then say, look, we can't host this church in this community, get the politicians to work against that church, have people protest against that church, bully that church. The politicians may even make up some fake COVID liability, saying, look, these guys are causing COVID to spread. It's a super spreader church. They're not spreading the love of Jesus. They're spreading the death of COVID. They're going to just start saying, oh, look, we can't have this church here, so we're going to have to turn off the water, turn off the electricity, and boom, just shut off free speech at the church. And some people just don't believe that this would happen. But the problem is, like, it's the heart of men that it's not like all this is not happening because of just rationale from a righteous place. No, it's coming from the dark heart of humanity. Like it's really coming from there. And people think that, oh, well, no, we will have limits. No, like if you give an inch to the devil, he's going to take a mile. He's going to take more than that. He's going to want it all. So look, the devil, he doesn't want the gospel to go out. He doesn't want people talking about Jesus. He doesn't want the chances of people learning about the truth of his history and God's, redemption history. He doesn't want that to go out because it can actually save people and mess up his plans. So he wants to make the message, he wants to slow down the message so that, he can, I guess, destroy more souls for the time being. So this is the real game plan. That's the real reason why censorship is happening around the world. I think if the devil saw that the gospel was not here and like every Christian was dead, the devil wouldn't care. People could say what they want because they're all going to hell anyway. But the thing is, Jesus says that, this gospel will be preached and then the end will come, right? So when you preach the gospel and you let everyone know about Jesus coming, you let everyone knows that he loves them, that he died for them, that he forgives them if they confess their sins to him and so on. And people start to have a relationship with Christ and their life is changed and all that. If people hear that, like more people become a witness of God's goodness. And then once the whole world, just about enough of the world is a witness, then Jesus can come and say, here I am. Like you guys know how good I am. I tried my best to save you guys. I tried my best to save the world. So now it's time. Like I'm going to have to destroy sin. I'm going to have to destroy the devil. So the devil, he sees that. He's like, look, I don't want the world to end yet. Like I know I have a short time, but please, I need to prolong it. So the way he prolongs the earth, this time, at least on this side of heaven, the way he prolongs it is by censorship, slowing down the progress of the gospel. So that's why he needs the gospel to be slowed down in North Korea and China and all these places, Russia, communism. That's the purpose of communism, to slow down the gospel. And in slowing down the gospel, just slowing down the second coming. So we have to defeat the gospel. We have to defeat communism so that the gospel can like take over and end the world. And that's what it's all about. I mean, we may say, well, it's really about, stopping Americans from using their freedom. Sure. It's about that. I mean, I'm sure the devil doesn't want to see us happy. And other countries don't want to see us happy, spreading ideas that they don't agree with. But at the end of the day, it's really like, as far as what the higher powers are fighting for, it's about the gospel. Like God is trying to get the truth out to us in our soul, and the devil is trying to keep it out from our soul. And this is it feels like the end. Okay. Now let me start answering questions. Now someone says, wait, is this dude saying we should hurry up and end the world? In a sense, yeah, I want Jesus to come. Now that's a tough question because the Bible says that we should hasten the second coming. The way we hasten the second coming is by actually preaching the word, getting people saved, and so on. But at the same time, God or Jesus, he waits. He's patient in coming because he wants everyone to be saved. So you in a sense you praise God for him not coming, because more people can get ready, or at least some of your friends who haven't met the Lord. But at the same time, you still want him to come, because it's like a double-edged sword. I mean, the longer you wait, the more people are being born and also being lost. But the sooner he comes, maybe your friend may not have time, or you may not be ready. So when he comes, and we will still appreciate it. No matter what. But yeah, I can't wait for Jesus' second coming, though. That's why my name is Adventist Hermes. I'm an Adventist. I can't wait for the advent of Jesus coming. But yeah, it's just crazy how Twitter is so hypocritical. Social media, the giants that these tech giants that are right now dominating the world, they are truly the president of the world. It's not Joe Biden, of course. He can't think straight. And it's not Kamala Harris. She's just like a 13-year-old girl who doesn't know who she is right now. She is so fake. She doesn't know how to be real. So it's definitely not her. They're just faces for the fools that think that they're better. They're a better choice for Trump. And hey, I mean, they weren't even voted in for the primaries. So it's just crazy. This is just insane. Let me look at the comments. Please ask me questions. I'm sorry, guys, for those who were here earlier and asked questions, and I just didn't look at it. But ask the same question again, and maybe I will get to it. But I see this comment right here. It says, bottom line is GOP should be a little friendlier with money. Left should be limited to what they can steal, and GOP stance against gay marriage should have been explained a little better. You know what? I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if it's possible to explain our position about gay marriage any better, because you're dealing with people's feelings, and feelings aren't rational. They're just not rational a lot of times. So when you explain to someone, look, I don't agree with your lifestyle, but I love you. I still care for you. They identify with the lifestyle, and they still feel like, oh, you just disagree with my identity. Like, you don't like me. So it's really hard to deal with it. I mean, no matter what, sometimes people just don't want to understand you. You see, Justin Wilson, you can tell Biden and Kamala Harris are satanic puppets being pulled by the strings. I feel so. I feel that is correct. I mean, in a sense, I don't really sense any spirituality, not even demonic spirituality. I just see fake people. That's all I see. I mean, now, but Hillary Clinton, I definitely see her being like possessed. She is possessed. Oh, okay. So this is on my Instagram. Andrew, great to meet you and talk to you on the walk back from the Capitol the other night, man. Let me see. Who am I looking at? Okay, well, hey, nice talking to you. I'm trying to remember all the people I've talked to at the Capitol. It was a lot of people, but nice meeting you. Okay. Oh yeah, this is a good comment. Require masks so no one knows if you are Antifa or MAGA. Exactly. So people are just at the Capitol mixed with MAGA and Antifa or Trump supporters, and you just can't tell. But throughout the whole year, when people were rioting for George Floyd, it's like, oh, how convenient. These guys set up the system of requiring masks. So it's like they were preparing people to be criminals. They wanted a year of crime. It seemed like a setup. I tried Gab later this week. They had 600,000 new subs added the last days for sure. Yeah. I wonder how they're dealing with that. If they're just getting a bunch of new servers, like these physical, huge, like mother drives and stuff to handle all that processing. But yeah, they're going to have to upgrade. No, I do not know. Do you know Sabbatai Sevi? No, I don't know that person. Sounds like Sabbath, but I don't know that person, if that's a person. Am I the only one who believes the Great Reset NWO is the covenant with many? Okay, so you might be thinking of not Revelation, but Daniel chapter 9, where he makes a covenant with many. Now, I have a different interpretation of that verse from you. Obviously, I believe that Prince is actually the Prince of Peace. That is Jesus, who makes a covenant with or agreement with many, because the covenant that God made with his people was that he's going to, if his people follow through with obeying him, God will give them all the blessings that he said he was going to give them. And Jesus, representing us as Israel in one, he was faithful in being the overcomer, like overcoming sin and doing everything that God told us to do. Well, he did it. And through him, he actually like confirmed the covenant. And yeah, the agreement is like, if we are faithful, we will go to heaven. Because Jesus was faithful, we are going to go to heaven in him. But that's my interpretation. We would have to sit down and like read it word for word. True that, but it's linked to Nazis way more than is taught. Love your channel. Yeah, I'm not sure where this is, like where this picks up from, but just speaking about Nazis, what's so interesting, I was making a comment on Facebook, is that whenever leftists talk about like Hitler, they always want to just frame the whole ordeal about racism. They just think that the Hitler story, the only thing you need to learn about it is Hitler was a racist. Don't be a racist. Don't be a fascist. And their definition of fascist is just don't be mean, or don't be a mean dictator. So that's why they can call Trump a fascist with no clear definition of what they're talking about. It's just like, what do you mean fascist? Like, what exactly did he do that was fascist? That's in their minds, it's just very blurry. But when you look at what fascists are, and also especially what the Nazis were, you start to pick up the fact that they did a lot of censorship. You start to pick up the fact that they controlled the private sector. They made sure they controlled the businesses. And you also consider the fact that Hitler, like the Nazi party, means National Socialist. It means they were socialists. And the reason why they were socialists was because they didn't like the fact that the Jews in their land was, in their minds, hoarding all the money. And the economy seemed to be just capsized over towards them. And they blamed the Jews for them losing the war, for them not having enough money for, I guess, the country and also for the military. So, Hitler, the Nazis said, look, let's take all this money and give it to our people. Let's distribute it to us, to the German, Aryan race. And that's how, in that sense, he was a socialist. Now, he was very particular what kind of socialist he was, but it doesn't mean he wasn't a socialist. It's just different kinds of socialists. And anyway, what you would notice is that, like, because the left owns academia, and they own, or at least a good portion of it. They dominate academia. They dominate Hollywood, the news, and everything. Whenever they talk about Hitler, they always say, no, 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 he wasn't a socialist. They try their best to like deny it because they don't want the stench of everything that Hitler did to be anywhere near representing the left, because socialism is it's a leftist, kind of philosophy. So they don't want him to actually represent them, even though he does in a lot of ways. They wanted to frame Hitler as right wing, a right wing fascist. So if you would talk to, a leftist, they would say, "What, Justin? You saying that Hitler was left wing? I thought he was a fascist. Fascist is right wing." They think authoritarian is right wing, but no. Left, like Hitler was left wing when you consider, what he promoted as far as censorship, what's going on here, and then also they didn't want their citizens to have guns because, of course, when you take away their speech and you start pushing up against them, they're going to fight back and they're going to shoot you. So he planned for that and took their guns away. That's what the left is crying for. In fact, right now, these like the big tech, these social media companies, and then also Amazon, they're pressuring, they're talking to GoDaddy.com to deplatform any gun sites so that people won't be able to buy from those gun sites. They're trying to make sure people won't be able to buy guns because they know things are just going to start popping off, and conservatives need to be without guns. They need to stop the distribution of guns. They need to slow it down. So that is exactly what Hitler was doing. So like when the left talks about Hitler, they don't talk about that part. They always leave that out. They say, no, he was racist and you're being a Nazi racist. That's just the crazy thing about it. Like, they don't want to talk about the fact that Hitler was also a eugenicist. He believed the fact that, or let me not say fact, but he believed in the idea that certain races, or I guess people, need to be cleansed from the earth or purged so that the cream of the crop will evolve faster. We need to just get rid of the dead weight. So they saw like people with Down syndrome or autism or just anyone with birth defects. They need to be thrown away in the garbage. They're not special. They're just slowing down our race that's evolving. Why do we need to take care of them and all that stuff? They're like, no, we have to get rid of these people because they're slowing us down. And Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist. She was the one who inspired Hitler. Margaret Sanger is left wing. Hitler got his views from left wing like characters, Planned Parenthood. So people don't realize like the concentration camp that was from the left. So people don't even think of all that. They don't think about it because the left owns academia, and they want to frame Hitler as right wing, not like themselves. So that is just how it is right now. Okay, I see a comment. Sometimes I randomly see comments, so forgive me for passing over your comment and looking at some other people's comments. But I see this person, Unsilent Podcast. It says, "I know you don't remember me, Justin, but we were chilling and talking, or talking at the Walk Away rally after the 11/14 March, right before Liz interviewed me." Well, maybe I might remember you if you were a female. If you have a cat, I think I remember you. I'm not sure. But what's up? What's up? Look at some of these comments here. The boomerang of censorship will come back to cut off your tongue. True, exactly. It will. What's funny is that these people that are somewhat like Jack Dorsey apologists who defend this the censorship by saying, oh, well, the Trump supporters are inciting violence, and that's not protected by freedom of speech. They have such a loose interpretation of whatever Trump says or whatever Trump supporters say. They just think, oh, it's all inciting race, race war or violence. These people, they don't realize that the looseness of interpretation that they have for one person or Trump supporters, it's going to be applied to them when it's convenient. And people just don't realize that they have unpopular opinions. They don't know that it's unpopular, but the moment they start to feel themselves and start feeling like, wait, I need to actually stand up for this belief I have, and I'm going to say it, and they start saying it, they will be shocked by the reaction of groupthink that comes against them and start saying, look, you can't have that thought. Are you a Trump supporter? Well, why do you believe that? And then if they push back, yeah, they get shut down. That's how a lot of people have become Trump supporters, because they were really left wing, but the moment they questioned something or just disagreed, they were called Trump supporters. They were called Nazis and all kinds of stuff. And before you know it, they were just not accepted in the group until eventually they got pushed into, I guess, the red pill. So, but yeah, that's eventually these people are going to be censored as well. Everyone think they're so special that they won't be censored. Yep. Yeah, Instagram banned that pizza door, I should say, pizza door, which was started on its platform. Yeah, it did. I remember that. That was, yeah, I remember when I first started learning about it in November of 2016, and like the internet was just blowing up with it. Everybody was talking about it on YouTube. I was just watching like hours and hours and hours of pizza door information. And yeah, right after Hillary Clinton, she started talking about fake news was the reason why they lost, and it was Russia interference. That's when they started purging, like within 2 or 3 months. So I remember that. And yeah, I just saw where it was going, because that was proof that they're guilty. Like, if it's not true, then just let the people say it. I mean, it's nothing's going to come of it. But yeah, if you're guilty and you're guilty of that crime, I can imagine that you would want to censor people, because the people that have much to hide have much to censor. They're puppets for the AC. That's just my feeling. Joe will make way for the AC to rise. Yep. For the Antichrist. Don't believe your government leaders, conspiracy theorists. Huh. Yeah. Well, in a sarcastic tone. Yeah. Don't believe your government leaders, conspiracy theorists. Yeah. It's interesting. Like, it's weird how people, they have this idea that like you should believe your government, as though they didn't fail you enough. They didn't fail you enough for you to not believe them. At this point, on the subject of not trusting the government, I have lost, I would say I've lost just about almost all faith in the government. That might be too much of a like an exaggeration. I would say my faith in the government getting things done, it's about like 80-90% like done, like, especially considering the congressmen, the senators. A lot of them have no backbone. Even if I don't suspect them being involved in this kind of dark evil, I still believe that they're just so wimpy. They don't really have much purpose. not as strong as like I believe Donald Trump has, or some of these other senators and House reps. But the vast majority of them, they're just trying to get along, and others are just like straight demonic. And yeah, like I just don't have any much faith. The FBI, I don't think they're actually investigating anything. They're just playing video games, and they're looking for the easiest thing to actually investigate, and anything that doesn't point back to them and cause them to be in the spotlight, yeah, they're cool with. They're not gonna talk about anything that will get them in trouble. So yeah, I just, yeah, I'm done. Like, especially when Bill Barr just when he said there was no blank, the elections was, safe. Yeah. I just realized this guy, what he did was just waste our time, made it seem like he was doing homework, but he wasn't doing his homework. He just sat down and just was having all these interviews on TV, making himself look interesting or somewhat like objective, but he wasn't doing jack. He wasn't planning to do anything. Did you know that the Nazi followed dark occult? Yeah, I didn't. I don't know for sure. My knowledge about it is not like upfront. I can't think of a quote or a visual of it, but I'm definitely certain they have. I mean, if you're going to be burning people in ovens, I'm sure you probably did something in the dark arts. I can't say what you did, but yeah. You said the 17th letter has a huge psyops as well. Okay, I'm not sure what's the 17th letter. If it's the Q word, then yeah, that might be the case. I actually never had like much trust or faith in Q and all that. I really, I like that they brought out human trafficking, like to the forefront and all that, child trafficking. But this idea that, Trump is going to save the day, everyone's going to go to jail. I can see Trump saving the day, but people going to jail, nah. It just, that part seemed too far-fetched for me, and too like overly positive. But some people are asking me, what's the topic? Really, the topic right now, the orbit of the topic is censorship. Twitter was banned from Uganda. Well, social media in general was banned in Uganda because they were interfering in their election. And, Twitter had the nerve to actually say that shutting down, they condemn the censoring of the internet while they're out there censoring people. So yeah, that's really the orbit of the conversation, but I'm kind of going off of comments right now. Roger that. Yeah, they mad. So let me see this. Maybe Bill Barr was following the plan. Durham will release the reports. Arrests will be made. They must send a strong message. I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it. As of right now, I'm doubting Thomas. I'm doubting Thomas right now. I'm even holding a lot of reservation for Linwood. Now, Linwood said some things that was just off the wall with the firing squad thing. Nah, I didn't believe that. When he said that, I think, okay, he's off right now. He's off. But he was right about, Pence being a traitor before everyone else. He was right about that. So I got to give him credit for that. So maybe he does know something that we don't know. And, it's his source is pretty reliable. Why did the Trump administration build Gitmo? It appears as if as if all the implementation to reform is in place. You know what? I don't know. It makes sense for him to build it for the future. I mean, we're going to be a lot of terrorists. I mean, it makes the context for it seems appropriate. I mean, it makes sense to build Guantanamo, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think Trump should have lost. He should not have lost. It. He should not have lost. And some people are saying that, oh, well, he was part of the plan. This is part of the what do you call it? The Heligen. Oh my goodness, I can't stand that word. Forgive me. Well, it's basically the idea, Hegelian dialectic. I think I said it. There you go. Basically, the idea of like the higher power is using both ends to get what they want. So, they in one issue they create a problem, then they make a solution, and in doing that, they play both sides. They get people to fear and then look for a savior. They become the savior, and then they manipulate people to do what they want. And some people are saying that Trump was, this savior that they built up to make things worse for their plan. And I don't believe that. The hate that they have for Trump shows that this was not planned, that they did not plan for Trump to be president. And yeah, I can see that he didn't come through with all his promises. Like he mentioned, he talked about putting Hillary in jail and all that stuff before he was elected. I wanted that to be the case a little bit. At the time, I didn't know why, but I wanted that to be the case. He didn't put her in jail. He didn't put anyone. He didn't manage to get anyone in jail. It seemed like the only people who were managing to get people in jail was the Democrats. And yeah, I mean, you could just see in them, they had this real hatred for Trump. In fact, I think that hatred for Trump is even stronger now. It's more empowered, and they probably will kill Trump. They will try to kill Trump. They're going to, I don't know, perhaps use Iran as a front. Iran is making all these threats. And then if someone kills Trump, they're going to say, oh, my goodness, look what Iran did. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. Oh, we're so sorry. But, these people, oh, my goodness. It's crazy. 3D, the Destroyer says the entire system is compromised. Elected official, judges, bureaucrats from the top down. Yeah. Yep. Totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. And should I be surprised? I think I should be. Because, I want to have faith in humanity. I do. I want to believe that people are doing what they say they're doing. But I think the issue is when you have so much power and you have the power to get away with crime, if you don't have Jesus, you're naturally going to do the evil if you can get away with it. So, and people who do have Jesus, a lot of times they fail at obeying Jesus. So just imagine the people who just have the devil. Just imagine. So, okay. Greek American says, a family whose name starts with Roth and they own a big banking system funded Hitler. Oh, okay. Yeah. So is that word banned too? Man, this is crazy. Likewise. God told my mom that I'm going to be a minister and president one day. Please pray for me, guys. I need some help getting through high school. They are brainwashing us. Oh, well, I believe that part. Well, praise God. The Bible calls us all to preach. And if your mom got that impression, follow through with it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a preacher, nothing wrong with being a minister. Go for it. I mean, more people need to hear the word, and I definitely want Jesus to come. Definitely want people to hear, the good news, because Jesus is too good to not hear about. You guys need to watch Viva Frey with Barnes Law. The Trump 3 SC appointees are loyal to the Federalist Society. McConnell, not Trump. KY McConnell state was the only red state that didn't back Texas. Huh, interesting. Interesting. To get a woman Pontus, you have to do that. You have to, you guys see that word. Yeah, because it just wasn't going to happen. Hillary definitely had a better chance than Kamala. Hillary definitely had a better chance. They hate him because he ran with the Scarlet Letter. Yeah, Republican. All right, someone on my Instagram is asking, someone says we need an asteroid, asteroid 2021. Let's get rocked. Yeah, well, Jesus will be that asteroid, according to Daniel 2. I'm with you with the asteroid. Your view on QAnon. I believe I just answered it, but if you just came in, my view is that QAnon, I don't know who's behind QAnon, but they've been wrong a lot. And I lost faith in them since their inception. Like, I remember a guy named David Seaman, who I would follow, listen to him, about Pizzagate and all his discoveries and stuff. Oh, I just said the word. Oh my goodness. But I would listen to him, and like, he was excited about this intel that he got from Q, because the intel told him that Mueller was actually the good guy, and that this whole thing was actually to trick the Democrats to, do an investigation that will eventually lead into investigating their child trafficking, and then eventually, put them in jail. And, they had a date that they were going to do that on. And, David Pakman, he was like happy. He was like, yeah, I mean, not Pakman, David Seaman. Please don't sue me, Pakman. But David Seaman, he was just celebrating with drinks and everything. And the day came and went, and nothing happened. And then once I saw that, I was like, oh, this stuff is fake. I appreciate them, bringing out child trafficking. That stuff is real. But all the messages and the secret, cryptic ideas that's coming through it, I'm like, why could go through all that? Trump is the asteroid. Yeah, Trump is well. If he had 4 more years, I think he would have really ended this. Like, he would have crushed the serpent's head. But yeah, it's sad to see it happen this way. And I saw him spoke in, was it Texas, Alamo, Texas? And that was like his shortest outdoor speech I've seen. And yeah, you can just see how different he is. He wears more orange makeup now, and I think that's to cover up, I guess, any paleness. I guess maybe he cried, maybe, I don't know. Just it's to cover up the stress. Maybe it's different because it's cold. I don't know. But during the rallies, he wasn't caked with that makeup. Yeah, I really feel for this guy. Pray for him, because I know they want to kill this guy. And I'm very frustrated in my head. Like, just somewhere in my head, I'm thinking, just throw down martial law. Just throw it down. Just do it. Just make an executive order. But I don't know. I'm just thinking, which one is better? Martial law for 4 years, or or Democrat persecution? I feel like Democrat persecution is worse. I feel like it. I don't know. According to Michael Flynn, Trump will 100% be in for 4 more years. I want to believe it. I want to believe it, guys. I really want to believe it. I really want to believe it. Hold on. Message to you to Justin meant pizza door, the restaurant. Nothing to worry about here. Yes, that's what I meant. Like, listen to the context. This whole time we were actually talking about restaurants. Military deep state. Yeah, I hope that's the case. I don't know. Yeah, you're not allowed to mention MAGA in the military. Huh. It's probably the case. Makes sense. Justin seems like this FN book has handicapped people. Oh, FN. Oh, that's a nice way to curse. We all know right and wrong, but the problem is one side is willing to kill, and the other has a damn head chopped off. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Everyone knows right and wrong, but there's one side that's killing people. That's one side that's killing people. And I think we conservatives are just too nice. We let them have 3 years of investigation. Republicans let the Democrats have an investigation for 3 years about Russia. But the Democrats won't give us not even a month or 2 to actually have a serious investigation on. They won't. They just kept dismissing all these cases and stuff. We should have just done that to them, I guess, about the Russian collusion. But I don't know. I guess nice guys don't finish first. They finish last. And the last shall be first. And that's when Jesus comes. Last will be first, and Jesus comes. Kathy Griffin with her holding up his decapitated head. Yeah. Kathy Griffin has that notorious, I guess, demonstration of Trump's head. Like, she's holding Trump's bloody head. And she reposted on Twitter, in celebration that Trump lost and in their minds. And I'm like, yo, like, Twitter, aren't you going to say this is inciting violence? Nope. Trump calling for peace, telling people to go home, that's inciting violence. But what it is, it's inciting violence against their narrative. That's what it is. And they just hate that. They hate when Trump make them look like fools. So, yeah, they're not against violence. They're just against people coming towards them. But anyway, guys, don't forget, subscribe to my Rumble. Like, go to Rumble right now. I need you guys to go to my Rumble to just leave YouTube, go to Rumble and subscribe right now, because my days here are numbered. They already got 2 strikes against me, and they're threatening to take away my channel if I have 1 more strike. And it could be anytime, because that last strike I had, it was because they picked some random video. The video was about this guy who just comes out of a car and then sucker punches this white kid who was, breakdancing and stuff with his friends. They decided to give that a strike. And I have several videos just like that I can't even remember right now, but I'm sure they have their button they have their button ready to strike any of those videos, so that they can just cut me off when they feel like it. But it is what it is. So jump to my Rumble, try to post more videos there. Hopefully they will get a live feature on there, like we have here on YouTube. Why do women sometimes cake makeup on? I hope Secret Service hasn't turned on him. Okay. There's like two different subjects here. But yeah, I'm sure Secret Service has turned on Trump. That's why they're not investigating. They're not doing anything. Um, yeah, I don't know who you can trust. I mean, these people, these Secret Services, these guys are protecting him. A lot of them aren't protecting them, and I feel that way because if Mike Pence can like betray him, imagine all these other people who aren't like working with him. Exactly, like they're working for him, but just not with him. Yeah, Russia collusion. There's also Clout Hub and Gab. Yep, go to Gab. I don't have a Gab account yet because it's just super slow. Everybody's jumping on Gab right now, and it's just too much for the servers to handle, whatever the case is. That's because there's too many establishment Republicans. Yeah, there are too many establishment Republicans, people who, I guess what it is that when you have a certain flow in your life and you don't want it to change, Trump was a threat because he was super unpredictable, and he can cause the people to like protest and demand certain rights and things that they don't want to spend their time working on. They may want to just chill out, let lobbyists come to them and say, hey, you want to make an easy $1 million? All you need to do is just write this legislation, write this law, push this, talk to this guy, make this agreement with this person, and you'll get $1 million. I know your constituents and also your state, your Republican state, they're not going to like you for this, but for you, it's worth it. You're getting $1 million. They would rather live that way for years, but because Trump comes on the scene and he makes people a conscience of what the people deserve and what they should not be getting, it's making their job harder. Now they can't fake. They have to show which side they're on. Either they're on the side of just self-interest, like they just care about making money, or they care about I guess the rights of their people. So yeah. Someone's saying, quit crying, dude, and have faith. You're not being a good Trump supporter. Have faith. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm a Christian. I don't have faith in Trump. Like, men can fail. The Bible says, put not your trust in men. So yes, I'm not going to be this guy that thinks that he has a revelation that Trump cannot fail him. No. History doesn't play out that way. God lets certain people, his people, like die or fail. And sometimes it's just, the Bible says it's for a greater resurrection. Not everything, ends in a happy ending. At least in the chapter that we're in this book of life, we know ultimately we're going to win in Jesus. But in this chapter, I don't know. In this chapter, it seems like we're going to lose in this chapter. This is an exciting movie. It's an exciting book. But I don't trust men. I don't have trust in Trump. I have, let me just put it this way. I trust Trump far more than I trust all these other politicians, but my trust is not at 100. So right now, the part where it's the part that I'm missing, like maybe like my trust in Trump being, I guess, the good guy, it would be like 80%, and that's pretty high. 80% that Trump is, for the Americans' best interest. 80%. Actually, let me say 90%, right? He has to be selfish somewhere. But him coming through, I trusted him coming through at like 90, 95. But right now, I'm at the 5% right now. Like, this is where history has brought me, is right here at the 5% where I did not imagine us being. So forgive me. And I'm not crying. I don't think I have a smile on my face because I feel like Jesus is going to come and make the world a happy ending anyway. So, I mean, okay, well, yeah, this chapter looks bad, but at the end of the book, Jesus will come. Just the narcissistic pride of man to believe they are above all other life forms of this planet that have built the foundation of your survival. Okay, that's a whole nother subject. I'm not sure if you're talking to me or addressing what I said or someone else said, but yeah, I guess it is somewhat narcissistic, but I thank God he has put us above the animals. So it's not necessarily narcissistic to agree with God. The Republican SCOTUS, where rhinos that was a mistake on Trump's part to bring an establishment GOP back. I don't know. How do you know? Like, I don't know how Trump would be able to study each person to know whether they are establishment or not. Some people will claim they're non-establishment and actually do things that are just definitely out of the box. But I think it's really hard to say for certain, like, who's establishment and who's not. A lot of times people told Trump to endorse this guy and get this guy in. And he's just one man. He's not God. There's just too many people for him to know. I mean, this guy, I am surprised he gets everybody's name correct. He never messes anybody's names up. So, I gotta give him that. He done a good job with like knowing certain people, but I think it's like close to impossible to know for sure all the possible Judases out there. Like, and even if he did, he would still be picking. There's still not enough options to just pick angels, all the people who's going to do the right thing. It's just, even Jesus, he picked Judas. Like, come on. Sometimes you just can't help but just pick the wrong people. Okay, let me see what people are saying on my Instagram. I don't think we're going to lose, even if it does not go the way we plan. God's plans are better. That said, I believe God is going to do something that will blow our minds. I want to believe it. Right now, I am Thomas right now when it comes to Trump. When it comes to Jesus, I am John. I have a lot of faith in Jesus coming back and, whatever he's doing. But yeah, I am so small. I just can't understand the giant moves of God. I just can't understand it sometimes. I think you're talking to someone else. What President Trump has done for Israel, for that one God is with him. For that alone God is with him. Yeah, God alone is with him. Well, God and also his family and friends and his supporters, but God most importantly is with him. Okay, let me see this. Kyle, we are above of what? I think it's funny y'all think you dictate the earth. What, you're alien? You're not human? You said you guys. You stay fearful of natural disasters like you have control of it. Well, we have control over our reaction to it, so we do have some control, but not over the whole thing. Now we may have some control over the wind and the rain at some point in history. But yeah, the Bible told us, or at least God said to Adam, to have dominion over the sea and the animals and everything that God has created here on earth. So in that sense, we're above them because we have more responsibility. Too much is given, much is required. So God requires us to take care of the earth because He's giving us like the best the earth can have, which is like a good mind. Remember to worship Jesus, not Trump. He is a patriot, but he's still a man. Exactly. A lot of times people think because I support Trump that I worship Trump, or that you can't support someone so passionately and not be worshiping him, and that's not that's not true. Like for example, when we think of history, we always think of all the people we would support if we were living in that time. So would you support Abraham Lincoln in his fight in freeing the slaves? Everyone here would say yes, like everyone. But back in that time, I'm sure people would say, come on, Abraham, what Abraham Lincoln is doing, it's not that deep. There's going to be some people who are just for him or against him, or just apathetic. Or some people would confuse people's patriotism and, I guess, desire to support his cause as, hey, that's just, you're being a fanatic for a man. That's just wrong. But the results is something that I could appreciate as a black man. I don't know how far we would be in history if, the Civil War didn't happen, or how far back, but I praise God for Abraham Lincoln. So I guess I would see Trump that way as well. The evil globalists NWO plan will not happen in their timeline. It will happen in God's timeline, the restrainer. True. I guess what you're saying is it won't happen when they demand it to happen, but when God allows it to happen. I don't think God is controlling, like making it happen, but it's Him that has the ultimate say on when and like how it's going to happen. He allows it to happen, just like how like a pet owner, he allows his dog to go out. What time and where exactly. So just like you said, the restrainer. Oh, what you said, what's my Rumble? Okay, right here. Adventist Hermes 7. Adventist Hermes 7 for Adventist. Well, the number 7 is to let people know I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, but Adventist Hermes 7. Yeah. So yeah, go to my Rumble. I'm trying to get more subscribers. I have 40 subscribers. As far as the last time I checked, 40 subscribers. But I want to get more subscribers to my Rumble. I have to build it from the bottom up. Right now, YouTube is already taking away subscribers. It took away at least 4,000 subscribers from like the last month or so. So yeah, make Rumble great. We can't say great again because I don't think it was ever great. So let's make Rumble great, or at least my channel as well. I want my channel to blow up there. Trump is not comparable to God or Jesus, of course not. But maybe Moses. Not even comparable to Moses. Moses was actually righteous. Like Trump is not like righteous, where he doesn't commit adultery and doesn't, say sacrilegious things. No, Trump ain't holy. I would compare Trump to to this guy named Jehu in, I think it's in Second Kings. This man who was prophesied to destroy the house of Ahab. Ahab was the king who had a wife named Jezebel, and Jehu, he was anointed by Elisha to actually become king of Israel and dethrone the corrupt politicians or the corrupt dynasty there, and clean house. So that's who I compared Trump to, because Jehu wasn't like the most Christian guy then, but he was still God's anointed. God still picked him. God doesn't always pick the most holy people. He picked the people that will accomplish his will, and his will is not always being a church boy, even though he wants everyone to be Christian and holy. But sometimes you just pick whoever's there to play basketball, and it's just unholy men, then he would use whatever that's there. I didn't want God to lose. Oh, excuse me. I don't want Trump to lose, but seeing the profane idolatry and false doctrine his supporters are falling for, I see why God allowed it. I could see that. Yeah, I could see that in a sense, but what I just don't see is how the alternative will be better. Now, I think God, he disciplines us with persecution, and persecution somehow make real Christians. You can't be fake if someone holds a gun to your face and say, look, if you love Jesus, die. If you don't, denounce him, and I won't kill you. That's when your faith gets real. And this may be a time where us Christians, we're just going to have to get real with our faith. We can't pretend anymore, because we will be persecuted. We will be chased. The years before, we weren't really that persecuted. We complain about being booted out of Facebook and the internet, but yeah, when people actually come at us for our faith and physically threaten our life, our family, and everything, that's when we are really, really persecuted. So maybe God is trying to make like real Christians through that. And yeah, having America like so great and good for Christians may not be good for Christians in a way. I don't know. God still used Trump as modern day King Cyrus, also in my opinion, because of the Mid East peace treaties. Maybe, yeah. It's just in my head, I'm thinking, well, back then, like the salvation that Cyrus gave to the Jews was just a lot longer. It was extended for decades. But with Trump, it's like 4 years, that's it? Come on. And maybe that's just a sign that we don't have much time left for us to have 8 years of prosperity. Maybe. But the way I'm seeing it right now, it seems like God gave us Trump to show us, look, this is where you guys could have been a blessed nation. You guys could have been the like a nation that I always wanted you guys to be like, but you chose this. You allowed this. So if you ever wonder why things ended up as the way we see it in the book of Revelation 13, this is the reason. Like, this is the path that strayed away from my will. Like, my will was for Trump to make America great again, but then your will was to just destroy America. And no one could blame God. No one could blame Trump. They would have to blame, I guess, the people, the people that let this happen. I mean, it's kind of not fair for like the Trump supporters who just like said, "Hey, wait, we didn't ask for this. We didn't want we didn't want the world to end by leftists." But maybe that's the case. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with that? Let's see. The issue, in my opinion, is what actions to take to fight. Fighting is not a literal term. Well, sometimes it can be, but yeah. To physically storm a building, in my opinion, cannot benefit. I don't know why Trump called the people to show up there. You know, that's also my question too. Like, I'm like, Trump, why did you tell them to go to the Capitol? Because you knew. And I felt like he, like all of us, we were hoping Pence was just gonna just decertify it. He had some faith in Pence, but he also had doubt. And it would have been such it would have been such an inspirational moment if Pence decertified it, and then it went to of course, like the Congress to debate about it, and they go back and forth, and eventually they, you know, each state, like one state per vote will actually give Trump the victory if it just went down that path. We would be celebrating in the street, and that would have been a beautiful thing at the Capitol. But I don't know. I felt like that's where I feel like Trump's wisdom, it shows that it's not like he's always doing 4D chess. Sometimes he gets things done, and he gets a lot of wins by luck. Sometimes that's what I think, and this is where he was just not lucky. Like, leading the people to the Capitol, yeah, and knowing how frustrated we've been. I mean, for all these years, we have been trashed, we have been ignored, we have been silenced on social media and just by the news. Then the BLM riots, the Antifa riots, they've been attacking Trump supporters, white people. Yeah, they've just been attacking businesses, trying to destroy the country just so that they can blame it on Trump. And then they take that, and we had enough. So it makes sense that we would just kind of say, you know what, this is not right. Like Antifa, they riot and everyone bends to their will, saying, oh, well, we don't want them to riot, so let's go paint Black Lives Matter on the street, you know, to appease the Black people. We don't want them to cry anymore. Oh, let's bend the knee as a police force. Let's bend the knee to them because they've been rioting. They're super frustrated. Look at their face. They wouldn't be doing this if they weren't really like sad and like serious about what they mean. So we see them, and they're being heard based on their violence. Their violence is called peaceful, but you know, we have to always be peaceful, but they don't have to. So I totally see why it blew up at the Capitol. I totally see why. Wait, you said the Capitol got stormed like 10 minutes before. The Capitol got stormed like 10 minutes before he stopped talking. Really? I don't know. I was at the rally, and I didn't have signal to even know what was going on at the Capitol. So maybe that's true. Do you think Pence was coerced or betrayed? Or wait, do you think Pence was coerced or to betray Trump? Or was he coerced to betray Trump? Yeah, I think he was coerced. I think he was definitely coerced. Yeah, I mean that's the only, I guess, good reason for him to do that. uh, like besides just betraying him outright because he's just a pure Judas. I don't see no other way. Maybe they had his kids on life on the line. If it was just so that he can preserve his image, oh my goodness, he should definitely get slapped by the Holy Spirit real hard. He just oh Lord, just make sure he doesn't have good dreams for a while. If it was for that cheap, then yeah, it's totally not worth it. Just to look good, no one's gonna like Pence, after this. No one, no one. Like if we're being persecuted and we're being reviled left and right, Pence is gonna be in our heads as, man, it's all your fault too. So no, it definitely can't be. It shouldn't be because he's trying to preserve his image. It probably was because he was coerced and he just didn't have the courage to stand up against the coercion. They must have been. This must be like years in the making. Pence was a sleeper from day one. He's a real good sleeper. I am convinced. I was convinced of his Christianity. Now, this may sound childish, even for me, to even say that, because I don't like to judge people's spirituality based on their political decisions. Because, I mean, sometimes politics and spirituality is separate because you're making decisions based on who is better than the other, and sometimes, men versus men, it's not easy to rate who's better. It's not always easy. For me, this case was a clear-cut case. Trump way was far better way, not the best. Like Jesus is the best, but far better. I don't see why. At least he should have tried to decertify the votes, even if he didn't believe it. But okay, then that would be wrong, because if he's being fake, then that will also be wrong to his conscience. But still, yeah, it made no sense that he didn't believe that he could. That he just felt like he couldn't decertify the votes. Someone on my Instagram said Nancy Pelosi have been absent from the House floor 2 days in a row. Wonder why. Some people are suggesting that, I don't know, maybe the laptop that they stole could be a part of that. Maybe they have the facts, the proof of their conspiracy right now. I don't know. But even if they could prove that she is colluding with Iran and colluding with all these, world powers, I've read somewhere that they have her emails, and they're reading about her making an agreement with Iran to give them nuclear weapons. And they're also like trying to make sure Trump doesn't have the nuclear code anymore because China wants to invade Taiwan. I'm hearing that. So I don't know how true that is, but yeah, she might be nervous about that. There might be something else in that computer, but in my head, I'm like, but it's too late now. They have all the power on their side. Even if we proved that they were colluding with whoever and they're doing all kinds of evils, trafficking children, whatever, the courts are just going to dismiss it, just like how they did with they're just going to do that. So I don't know. My faith is low in the system. The system is it's a kangaroo court. They're not going to listen to any case that will incriminate them. I feel like it's too late. I mean, with at least Trump in power, and then the Republicans having the Senate, we had some leverage. But yeah, I don't know. Justin Wilson, please watch on YouTube via mythology how Pence accepts the coin in bribery and Nancy nudging him. It's total corruption. I was concrete that Pence was a Christian. Yeah, I'm not sure what incident, the coin of bribery or the coin in bribery. Yeah, I'm not sure what incident you're talking about where he sort of took, I guess, the 30 shekels that Judas took to betray Jesus. Are you talking about the case where he's giving a paper at a funeral and Trump didn't get one, but all the other globalists got some? I'm not. If you're talking about that, then yeah. I'm not sure if I can read too much into that, but it still could make sense. It makes sense that, yeah, that was a signal. Maybe we're reading too much into that. Predictions of what law will get passed by the end of 2021. Banning assault rifles, hate speech laws. Well, definitely hate speech laws. That's probably going to be like next month. And you could see the silliness of a lot of these liberals who are trying their best to defend Twitter, their censorship. They're saying that Trump supporters are inciting violence and so on, and how loose their interpretation of inciting violence is. So, you know, it is in their minds, like, leading, like, if you disagree with them, it can cause another capital situation, or insurrection. So hate speech in their heads, oh, okay, if you criticize homosexuals, you're endangering their life. Therefore, we need to ban that. Like, we need to ban any criticism of gay people because, yeah, you could kill them. There's someone out there that just says, you know what, Justin, what you just said about gay people and so on and adulterers, well, forget the adulterer part, but gay people, that's dangerous. That is going to kill people because someone out there is going to take that, twist it, and then go out and kill gay people. It's just that simple. That's what people were saying. And, I was even like going back and forth with some liberal on my Facebook. And every time I talked about how, like, just saying your opinion should not be considered hate speech, he kept on using the example of, like, Rwanda, how, those guys, they were just pretty much calling for, I guess, genocide on the radios and so on. They're saying, look, like, this is like genocide. And every time I kept bringing up examples of why we should have free speech, he brought up examples of why you should ban like inciting violence. So in his mind, free speech equals inciting violence. Saying criticism or criticizing people equates to inciting violence. He kept on making that like comparison. And I just realized, like, wow, like, this is their heads, right? Like, this is how they think. The process is, look, if you give freedom of speech, people are going to incite violence. So we have to create hate speech laws to stop them. That's what that's what they're doing. So you have to, in their minds, they think, no. Like, you can talk about any opinion you want. You just can't say lies. You can't say lies, and they determine what lies are. That's how they feel like they are arbiters of like what's false and what's true, and you have no say in the matter. So if your opinion is, well, what you believe is right, well, forget it. You are a conservative. You're a Trump supporter. You can't know what's right. So I'm going to determine for you that what you just said is misinformation. It's a lie, and it's dangerous. And this dangerous lie can get someone killed. So I'm going to call that hate speech. That's what they're doing right now. Yeah, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the pattern of thinking going on right now because there's some leftists who are just they're stuck in a corner. they don't want to criticize their own, so they have to keep on supporting their own, like the Jack Dorseys of the world, Facebook, the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world. I don't know if I can say that word. Well, I mean, he kept on bringing up the Rwanda case. You love my hair, praise God, thank you. But been on here for an hour and 40 minutes. And I think I like to close off. Kat Notzun says consideration for everyone else except Christians. Yeah, exactly. The Christian opinion is antiquated. It is something that needs to be left behind, progress from. So they feel like, oh, you don't have to listen to your Christian views. It's it's unnecessary. We don't need to hear that. We need to hear about the ever-changing views of a progressive. So yeah, they really think of themselves as like above conservatives. That conservatives are cavemen and they are these intellectual giants that are like making like all the miracles of science today. So you should obey them and listen to them. Leftists completely hate the idea of God, same as bullies hate the idea of weakness. Huh? Same as bullies hate the idea of weakness. Okay. Okay, so you're saying that God is weak? Because God is not weak. I'm not understanding. I don't like that comparison. Huh. I don't know who that is. Trump did not mention Ashley Babbitt. That is cheap and disloyal. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't comment on that situation. Let me look at my Instagram. Why was Trump not able to provide enough evidence for? Oh, see, this is the thing. This is the psyops that the media keeps doing. They did provide a lot of evidence, like more than enough evidence. It's just that the news kept on saying they didn't provide evidence, and they would take these evidences like to court, but the court would dismiss them. They would even dismiss. They would not even accept like video evidence. They would not accept it. So it's not about evidence. It's about who's looking at the evidence. These people see the evidence and they just dismiss it. And a lot of these judges were liberal. And man, the Democrats, man, I got to give it to them. They were prepared more than they were talking about all kinds of stuff while people were rioting and the subjects were all about Antifa and Black Lives Matter. They were in courts trying to loosen the system, trying to make sure it's loose enough for them to. And yeah, they were working with all these judges, making sure that they will make decisions in their favor. And that's what happened. All these cases were just being dismissed. They weren't examining the evidence and they weren't taking it serious. And that's the thing. A lot of times people deify these judges as though judges are going to be objective. No, they have biases. A lot of them are voted in. So yeah, a lot of them are just voted in by politicians and also the people in their district. So yeah, of course, they will a lot of times judge in a way that their voters or their lobbyists wants them to judge. So yeah. So the wind reap the whirlwind. Stop watching news. They're all liars. Yeah, that's true. I don't know about all liars. The thing about liars is that liars don't lie all the time. They just lie just enough. They tell the truth just enough. Anyone who's been to Epstein Island is corrupt. Yeah. Yep. Please, when you close out, go watch the video of Trump accepting the Masonic coin when he stabbed Trump in the back. It's titled Judas Pence. Okay, so you mean the video of Pence accepting the Masonic coin. Okay, I have to see that. I will remember that. But anyway, I want to close out. Let me see. If I see another question, I might answer it. Did you notice how scared the rep was from Arizona to speak up? I missed that. I have to go back and look at the video. Usually I just look at, the good parts. So I might have just missed that. Yeah, you can't expose something if they refuse to look at it. Yeah, you just can't. Mr. Obvious have the video as well. Yeah. But I am contemplating about deleting this live. I'm really contemplating because I'm not sure if the moderators are judging my video and judging what I believe and could sense what I am suggesting. So yeah, they would probably, I was thinking, are they going to delete this video and then give me a strike? I don't know. I really don't know. So I just feel like what I'm going to have to do is just do lives and delete them, or just delete them and upload it on Rumble. That's just, I feel like, what I got to do. Good stuff, but delete, brother. Yeah. What if after the 4 years of Biden presidency, you realize that nothing you were afraid of liberals really happened, and turns out that it was a good term? Would you change your political views? I don't think I would change my political views. I guess I will just, because I'm trying to work in my head how this could not happen. Like, how could a person smoke cigarettes and not get addicted? How could, like, these tech giants censor people and them just stop doing it, like, all of a sudden? I just can't see them, like, stop doing that. How could Democrats like push for gun control and stop wanting to control, like, how much guns we have? I haven't gone past that thought of, like, if they just stopped, because I just find that just hard to believe they would do that. But let's say nothing I said that they're going to do happens, right? The tech giants, they don't censor us anymore. They don't go after our houses and to our churches and try to censor us there. And let's say the country actually prospers. We'll have to figure out how they will prosper. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if it prosper in a way by chance, let's say they raise the taxes, do all the things they said, maybe. Yeah, I really, a good portion of my politics is based on how much of humanism that I have in me, like how much faith I have in humans. And I feel like if you give humans or give people too many, if you give them too much money that they did not earn, then they're going to squander it, they're going to abuse it, and things are just going to go haywire because people are not working. So I don't know, socialism will kind of destroy the country, but I don't know. I have to come back to that thought because I haven't thought past that, to be honest. Still not trusting them. You can't build a country on high taxes. Yeah. Question is, could you build this country on high taxes? Like, if it did happen, which I can't, wrap my head around it, how would it happen? I mean, all these countries that build their country on high taxes, really, what actually made them greater was rich countries like us protecting them. We supply them with military. They didn't need to use their military for anything. And we kept giving them aid. So it really wasn't their socialism that did anything. I don't know. We cannot go into a voting booth. We cannot go voting both and put our political party before our faith. Republicans are against abortion, and the Democrats openly support it. The choice is clear. Yeah, the choice is clear. So, yeah, when it comes to that, my political views or my political support, yeah, I definitely wouldn't support the people that is supporting child murder and people who are so laxed on child trafficking. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't do that. Yeah. They gave us $600. Let us know how much they care. Yeah. They gave us that much just to let us know how much they care. And dude, McConnell, I don't know what he was doing, but he threw down the other 1,400. I don't know what they're doing. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she's like, look, they're probably going to say, to get the rest of the 1,400, the rest of the 2,000, you're going to have to take these vaccines. That might be the case. I don't know. That might be the case. Well, anyway, guys, thank you for joining. I'm going to close out. It's about almost 2 hours. I was here doing live. But thank you guys for joining. I kind of miss doing YouTube videos, so I'm going to start doing it. But I'm going to have to delete this video, at least from YouTube. I'm going to put it on Rumble. But guys, go to my Rumble, subscribe there. See it right here. It's Adventist Hermes 7. Don't forget the 7 for 7-day Adventist. Yeah, so you guys who are on my Instagram, I want you guys to look at it, get a visual. See, Adventist Hermes 7. Sometimes when people hear me say Adventist Hermes, they don't know how to write it down, how to spell it in the way that I'm pronouncing it. But yeah, go to my Rumble, go to rumble.com, find Adventist Hermes 7, and then subscribe. I need to build that up from the bottom up so I could put more content there, so I could talk to more people. But anyway, God bless, guys, and I will see you guys in another video. See ya.